Smallmouth. Oh, that's a smallmouth.
Yes! And we got one of these nuisance musky on again. Just a gorgeous fish. I love the colors that they are in the fall like this.
Let's go fishing. People, when you're in the mood, let's go fishing. Well, it's just me and you. Head on down to the fishing hole. Grab your hat, get your pole. Let's go fishing. When you're in the mood.
Canadian Sport Fishing is brought to you by Rapala, premium fishing gear crafted from experience. Yamaha, conquer outdoors. Defend Products, eco-friendly protection from biting insects. Dickies, quality workwear since 1922.
We got one.
All right, Aaron.
I don't know if it's a smallie or largie. I was using an X-Wrap.
Good.
I think it's a largemouth.
Okay, see if you can bring it around the boat.
Very
Maybe
big,
Aaron
but-
on the other side, if you can swing it around.
Yeah, not
I'll work
very
the
big, but
electric. Can you tell it's fall? A little lethargic, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
Not doing the
little
typical
largemouth.
leaping. Beautiful.
It'll go 2 pounds.
That's the
Now,
the live series sucker pattern, and it's got a couple of perch so far, and now bass. Nice little bass.
Yeah. Well, for fall, you know, a lot of people stop fishing. You know, we're here on Tri-Lakes. We're actually on Pigeon Lake right now, and we're going to be fishing Buckhorn Lake and maybe even Shamong. But there's nobody out here. I mean, it's gorgeous. The weather isn't the best. You know what? That's a nice start.
It is.
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Did
Little guy, but
did you just feel a heavy weight when you went to twitch, or did it actually hit it?
you know what? It didn't hit that far away. It hit maybe 6 or 7 feet from the boat, and I was just kind of twitching it, and on the pause, it just came up and nailed it. I watched it hit. It was pretty exciting.
That's a perfect size to use for the fall,
Yeah,
too.
it's really nice. I like this this color pattern. It's a sucker pattern. It's the Live series by Rapala, and it looks pretty much just like a real sucker. It's very effective.
They've made it so it almost looks like there's some scales missing. I like the detail in it.
Oh yeah.
So it's great.
It's pretty sexy looking in the water.
Yeah. Got one on the inside edge.
Beautiful.
Feels pretty good. He's going down in the weeds. I'll tell you, that's where the stiffer rods help. Because we've got that bare shoreline, and then we've got the weeds just out of it.
Very respectable.
Yeah, he took it good. I'm just going to come to the back corner to land it. I'm going to come into your territory, okay, Aaron?
No problem.
I'm using one of those number 5/0 Gamogatsus, and I think they're almost like a XX strong hook, Aaron.
Yeah, they're pretty beefy.
You know what? I figured that fish, the way he hit, was bigger. So we're using these 4-inch plastic grubs. You can see that hook. That fish really inhaled it. That hook, the point, is right on the side of the cheek there.
Need pliers?
Well, no, I just want to show them. You know, he's not going to get off, right? You can see the hook set. So that's a pretty strong hook. You can see the actual metal that Gamogatsu uses. So he wasn't going to get off, but there's no problem releasing him. This is where those guys sometimes, you know, tap their hook like that. So I should be able to just push it back. Perfect. Yeah. So he's a little smaller than the one you just got a little while ago.
Oh, about the same.
I thought he was going to be about 3 pounds, you know, when he hit. Yeah, he just nailed it. This is amazing. You know, it's kind of like summertime fishing. I just hooked that bass, brought him around the boat. This just tells you, because it's fall, how lethargic they are. Now, mind you, he's not a big bass, but he sure took the bait well. I got on a 4-inch worm. And I'm just going to lift them up like they do in tournaments. And I can't stress enough, you know, these worm hooks, they call them wide bend. They're so good for hooking up fish, but it really helps to have a stiffer rod and to use a braided line.
Very nice.
Yeah, so we're having fun, you know. It's a dreary day, fall day, but the fishing's good. And I'm excited, Aaron, because we've got so many places to fish over the next 2 days. You know, we're working with the Curve Lake First Nation, and we're staying at these beautiful cottages. They're very traditional, rustic cottages, right on Buckhorn Lake. So we were out pre-fishing yesterday, and the weather was windier. So this is actually perfect conditions.
It's beautiful out here.
Oh, just had a fish pick it up again.
Smallmouth. Oh, that's a smallmouth.
Yes!
Finally,
Fall
a smallmouth.
smallmouth. Shallow water. Kawartha Lakes. That was classic. We were kidding around about the MasterCard commercial. You know, pack of plastic grubs, $8.99. Shift rod, whatever. Catching a nice musky or a bass in the fall like this, priceless.
Nice
Tube
fish.
is, yeah, did you like the way he came up head shaking? Left,
Oh, yeah.
right, left, right. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
You know, sorry, it's not a monster fish, but you know, your adrenaline gets going, especially when you feel that tug on the line. And I love the way these big wide cap hooks hook them. Look at cheeky fish again.
Very nice.
Beautiful hook set right in the
Very
side.
nice.
Not going to get off, but really not harmed. He didn't swallow it deep. I love the colors that they are in the fall like this. They're just gorgeous. This
Beautiful.
guy doesn't have a really big belly, but they are starting to feed heavily, I think, before it gets really cold.
Oh yeah. They're gonna really put on the feed bag soon.
You know, I'm amazed with these low light conditions that these fish are going right in on those rocks. It's kind of funny.
Beautiful. I love it.
The nice thing is that we don't have to use bait. You can just use a variety of artificials. A lot of people, I know, Aaron, that I know, say that you got to use like either minnows, you know, or crayfish in the fall. But I find that using the artificials, it works really well. I'm going to show you
They work excellent.
on a new bait the way we're rigging these. So, you know, you can literally take any tube. These are the Trigger X tubes. Now you'd think because it's so overcast, we have very low light going into the water, that bright colors would work well. But sometimes it's the opposite. It's the natural colors, and especially some of the darker colors, that work really well. So I'm holding up probably the most popular colors when it comes to fishing, you know, smallmouth and largemouth bass with these tube jigs. And I'm going to just show you the way you can rig them up with a normal hook, like a worm hook. And remember, this is a number 5, so the hook itself has a little bit of weight to it. It's a little bit heavier than some of the light wire hooks, but you literally put it through the tube, about a 1/4 inch through the center, and then slide the hook right in so that the step of the hook is in the tube. Now you can see that that hook is pretty well right at the end of the tube, and then you pierce the tube through both sides of it. If you want it to be totally what we call Texas rig, you would have it inside. So I'll show you this. So I've got it right now, and I'm going to put the hook inside the tube. And if you're working heavy cover, you work the tube so that the hook is inside. When a fish clamps down on it, that tube is so thin that when you go to set the hook, you'll set the hook. But because we're fishing these rocks, if you look down, rocks and a little bit of weed cover, I'm actually putting the hook so it comes out the other side, just like that. And you can see that the hook is still pointing towards the tube. So most stuff is going to go over it, but as soon as that bass pushes on it, it's going to get caught. So a lot of people just use tube jig heads, whether they're the ones that are on the outside, like with the old gizzard style, or the ones that go inside, which is traditional. But you can also fish the shallow water and just use a straight tube like that, and it works really well. You know, when you're here in the Kawartha Lakes, the one downside is that zebra mussels have gotten into the system. The upside is that the water is so clear. Sometimes you can see the fish when you're fishing like this in the fall, in the shallow stuff, especially where there's rocks and weed transition, you can actually see the bass come up and grab whatever you're using. And this
Very nice
guy,
fish.
he threw my little tube away, but that's okay. Let me see if I can lift him right in the boat. They're awesome, eh? Even if they're not big.
Oh, even the small ones put up a good fight.
I think for families, you know, these are great fish. And even if sometimes the walleye aren't on, like throughout the season, you can usually always go to some rocky structure where there's a combination of rocks and weeds and use something like a drop shot rig and live bait, like a live leech is really good, or you can use worms or a minnow and get this size of smallmouth and even bigger pretty well all season long, right from when the season opens right up until November. I love those models, you know, looks like a little tiger. Smallmouth, but boy, are they good fighters. Okay. Nice and gentle like. And is the water cold? Yes, the water's cold. Look at that. Beautiful fish. October smallmouth right here from the Kawartha Lakes.
Anin and bonjour. My name is Mike Williams from Curve Lake First Nation, and I am the owner and operator of Williams Outfitters. We are a professional guide service offering many different types of guided trips for all different species of fish in the area. We're located here in the heart of the Kawartha Lakes of Ontario, a short drive north from Petra-Boat, and hop, skip, and a jump from Toronto. Curve Lake is made up of about 1,000 members, and we are Ojibwe Nation. The lakes in the area offer many types of fishing. You can target many different species and have the fishing experience of your lifetime out here. Curve Lake First Nation also offers cottages that you can stay at with your family and friends.
This is amazing. You know, when you're fishing in the fall, you got to be ready for nasty weather. And we had such a heavy downpour. We just moved to a new location, and you can see, look at how close we're fishing the shore. That's because it's starting to get into late fall, and we're fishing a very finesse presentation. And believe it or not, this is the first sign of a light sky this morning. It's funny because we've been watching panfish try to go for our grubs, and then, you know, you get fish like this.
Wow.
Isn't that a nice smallmouth?
Very
It's
nice
gorgeous,
fish.
eh?
Oh yeah.
Now that fish, see these rocks that are on shore here? I think someone just made kind of a break wall there to prevent erosion. And that fish was about 2 feet off there. So, you know, a lot of times in the fall, fishermen think that you've got to fish deep and go off weed lines and stuff. This guy's heavy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a good size. What a slab.
Very nice fish.
But they'll go into very shallow water to look for food. The one thing that we noticed today was a lot of activity from panfish on the surface. Actually, very close to where we're staying at Curve Lake, the panfish are all in front there in Buckhorn Lake. And we were casting all around hoping that there was some larger fish underneath. But it's funny, we move into the shallower water and you get a really nice trophy smallmouth like that. And it's so nice to get him on a spinning outfit like this, light action. Okay, I gotta just get the hook out. You know what? That fish has a really nice full belly, so he's been eating well. I just can't get over, Aaron, how shallow that fish was.
Yeah, it
It
must have been
tight.
less than a foot of water.
Yep. And just in between those light weeds, I tell you, he wasn't going to get off. Between those light weeds.
You got him pegged good.
Well, it's the hook, so you got to give the hooks credit. Look at that. I'm going to give you one more look while I hold him in the water. I don't know how long I can hold him because he's a whopper, so he's got lots of energy. Look it. Is that a trophy smallmouth?
Anywhere
Right
it's a
here
trophy.
from Curve Lake First Nations on Buckhorn. Great place. You know, you can book yourself a cottage and fish right in front of their community and catch fish like this all season long. Right from opening day, right through to closing season. So it's amazing. Man, what a nice fish. Look at that. I love those bars.
Closed captioning by Tetra-Pod, the only trailer that flips into a boat in less than a minute.
You know, this is gorgeous. We were just looking down because we had a little bit of bright skies, and you could see the structure down there, all the rocks and a mix of weeds. But we're fishing in shallow water. The water's about 1 to 3 feet deep. So you can see we've got the Yamaha trimmed up. Uh-oh, that's how shallow it is, right?
Yep.
This is another nice smallmouth. I'm just gonna take a break here and get it close. Come on. Pretty fish. Come on. You threw my little grub away.
Very
I want to
nice.
get that hook in my hand. He's actually caught in the lower jaw. Maybe I can just pick him up like so. So very interesting. You got to see how this guy's hooked here.
Wow.
In a second. It's like a
Right through the gums.
double piercing job here. Yeah, on the bottom. To be honest with you, I haven't seen this for a while.
Should leave the hook in there and just let him swim around with it
Yeah,
as
yeah.
like a piercing, right?
Yeah, look at how he's got that hook in the bottom there. So normally the hook is somewhere through the roof of the mouth, because when the grub is fished, the hook is on the bottom. But look, he's got like a double hook, but it's through the bottom. So I got to kind of be careful here because I want to release him. He just hooked through the bottom of the mouth and just through the tissue. See if I can get that out. Man, these are good hooks.
These bronze backs really put up a great fight. Eh?
They do. Okay.
Even
so
little
let me-
guys like these,
Look at, isn't that beautiful? Look at
Spectacular.
those stripes. Just a gorgeous fish. We're also admiring, you know, some of the cottages. You can see the shacks that are on the shore here. So they're just pretty amazing. We've seen everything from log cabins, you know, to some pretty run down. Remember some of the
yeah.
ones that, you know, people just haven't taken care of, and then these mansions. But anyway, this is so nice here. We still haven't met anybody else fishing out here, which is kind of nice. So that's the nice thing about coming up here to Buckhorn in the fall and enjoying this great bass fishing that they have to offer, and the odd musky surprise. Just gonna put him in the water. Come on. And there he goes.
nice.
Well, isn't this awesome? You can be fishing a foot or two of water for bass.
And musky.
And we got one of these nuisance musky on again. And of course, I'm going all the way with a 12-pound fluorocarbon leader. I just let the drag
Oh, yeah.
off.
Might need a hand with that.
Yeah, we want to be gentle with this fish. It's not a huge muskie. I'm guessing maybe 8 to 10 pounds or 10 pounds. But we both saw it. Did you see it come up?
Yeah.
And inhale it?
I saw it boil, yeah.
So I don't know how deep he's got that grub. I'm letting the drag off again. You know, both Aaron and I looked down, and this muskie came right up to the surface to get that little 4-inch grub, that tube.
That's amazing. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a nice boil.
Well, it's that time of year, right? You can get anything. I don't know if he's got me in some weeds.
Like
He's not
sometimes you'll be
moving right
musky
now.
fishing all day long.
I know.
You know, you won't see anything with the musky baits, and you know, you hear of a bass fisherman or a walleye fisherman
yeah.
getting a muskie, and so typical.
Yeah, they're such a great fish. I know you've done a lot of musky fishing, guiding
Oh, yeah.
especially.
Yep.
And you've
Love
caught some
musky
big ones,
fishing.
right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But you normally don't go with a 12-pound
Not normally, no.
leader, no.
No.
Or a
I
4
did
or
catch
or a 4-inch tube, right?
No, but I did catch a 50-inch muskie once casting a spinner bait.
Oh, I believe that.
12-pound
Yeah.
fluorocarbon leader.
Yeah.
It was a good thing it was Suffolk, I tell you.
Yeah. I got a feeling he's in there looking. Oh, he's not that small. I thought he was about 8 or 10. I think he's over that. I think he was in there looking for bass, just like us. I got
Could be.
this. Oh, I think
Could
so.
be.
I think so. I think he knows the same spots. If you could put a little radio tracking device on him, he'd probably mark all the good walleye and bass spots. You know what I mean? All his
Yeah.
feeding grounds.
Nice clean muskie.
Beautiful. Good fighter. I mean, this is kind of ironic because we got all our musky gear, and here I am, you know, hooking a fish on a on a rod. Let me move this out of the way for you here. Hooking it on a spinning rod, bass rod, rigged light. Now you might get off, and that's okay. We're just having fun. But you know, if you come up to Buckhorn, this is what you can expect, especially if you're staying at Curve Lake. And I mean,
You never know what you're going to catch.
no, and you know, you can, if you target muskie, they get 48 to like 50 inchers every year. As a matter of fact, not far from where we're staying at the cottages there. So see, I don't know if this guy's ready or not. See if I can get his head in. And you know, you're doing that like a guide. There, he's in there.
There we go.
So if you turn it, just put it, yep, that's perfect. We've got a tape measure on there. So we're gonna keep this fish in the water. You know, one thing we can't stress enough, whether you target muskie or you get him incidentally, try to bring him in and release him as fast as you can. I'm gonna get the pliers, even though it's a
Right
single
here.
hook.
Yep.
You
Already got
are
'em out.
good, you even got the musky ones. I'm gonna open the bail just in case something happens, that the fish doesn't take off and break.
Yep.
Now, what's your guess on length? 'Cause you got-
I think it's over 30 inches.
I think so. Okay, I was going to put my hand in there. You know what? No, I don't think so. He's just hooked just in the snout, which is great. I think that's why he didn't break me off.
Yeah, that came out pretty easy.
Oh,
One
yeah.
single hook.
Yeah, it's just a single hook. I'm going to drop
Perfect.
that in the water over there. And let's get a quick measurement. I'm going to try rolling him closer to the tape. Actually, the tape is here. This
Yeah.
one's easier to read. So we're going to release it very quickly. But just to get a length, an idea. On this side, we got it there. He's about 39. So we haven't taken him out of the water. He's probably going to shoot out of my hands. There's a beautiful,
Nice, healthy muskie.
Yeah, Kawartha Lake's muskie. You know, a lot of people target these fish. They're gorgeous fish, and he's
Beautiful.
no worse for wear, as they say.
Nice.
Good job.
man.
Thanks for getting the cradle.
Nice.
You know,
Canadian Sport Fishing is brought to you by Suffix. Always use the best line. Yamaha. Conquer Outdoors. Defend Products. Eco-friendly protection from biting insects. Dickies. Quality workwear since 1922.
it's another perch. You know, Aaron, some of these perch are pretty good size.
Very good size.
You know, the one nice thing about being up here on Buckhorn Lake, you can enjoy the game fish, but you can also get some really tasty panfish. Like that perch is, I think he'd pass for a filletable fish. You see we got the rain coming down again. You know, if you have a family and you like the kids to get into some action, there's a lot of bluegill in Buckhorn, and perch like this, and even bigger, up to about a pound, that you can get all season long. All you need really is just a hook and a worm. You know, fish it below a float. Pretty fish. I think those big muskie and some of the larger bass are looking for these guys. There, back in the water.